In this video, we will look at the provisions of Section 33 of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which talk about the initiation of liquidation proceedings in the event that the resolution professional fails to submit a resolution plan before the NCLT by the time given by the IBC code to complete the corporate insolvency resolution proceedings. Let us take a look at this company, Parekh Aluminex Ltd. Parekh Aluminex Ltd was incorporated on the 1st of September 1994 as a private limited company. In February 1995, it converted itself into a public limited company. It was engaged in the manufacture of aluminium foil rolls, aluminium foil containers, and aluminium lids. Its products found their way into restaurants, hotels, railways, and airlines. Let's look at the facts of the case. Now, on the 23rd of November 2017, the company was admitted into CIRP proceedings under Section 7 of the IBC, the financial creditor being Kotak Mahindra Bank. We know that as soon as a company is admitted into CIRP proceedings, an interim resolution professional is appointed, and thus one Avel Menezes was appointed as interim resolution professional. He formed the committee of creditors, and they first met on the 10th of January 2018. At that meeting, Avel Menezes, who was appointed as an interim resolution professional, was now appointed as a resolution professional of the corporate debtor company, Parekh Aluminex Ltd. On the 21st of February 2018, the third meeting of the Committee of Creditors was held. Over here, the COC approved the expression of interest, including evaluation matrix, for inviting prospective resolution applicants. Four prospective resolution applicants submitted their expression of interest. The resolution, two bidding offers were made out from the prospective resolution applicants, out of which one withdrew its offer. So now they had just one resolution applicant, prospective resolution applicant. On the 11th of May 2018, the fifth meeting of the COC was held to consider the plan submitted by 8th Finance Private Limited, the prospective resolution applicant, and also to extend the period of the corporate insolvency resolution process by 90 days. If you will recall, Section 12 of the IBC stated that the CIRP process should take 180 days, and if an extension is required, then a further period of 90 days can be granted by the NCLT. So, of course, on the recommendation of the COC. So on the 7th of June 2018, the NCLT granted the extension of the CIRP process for a further 90 days. Subsequent meetings were held in July, August, and on the 8th of August 2018, the resolution plan of the resolution applicant was put forward for e-voting among the members of the COC, and 73.58% approved of the resolution plan. Now, on the 29th of March 2019, the resolution applicant, that's 8th Finance Private Limited, sent a letter to the resolution professional intending to withdraw the resolution plan. On the 3rd of April 2019, the 11th meeting of the COC was held wherein they opposed the resolution applicant to withdrawing its plan. And therefore the matter went to the NCLT. The NCLT on 20th November 2019 held that if the resolution applicant wanted to withdraw its plan, then it would have to forfeit its earnest money deposit of rupees 2 crores. The resolution applicant said yes, they wanted to withdraw, and on 7th of January 2020, the NCLT directed the resolution professional to forfeit the earnest money deposited by the resolution applicant, in this case the 8th Finance Private Limited. On the 23rd of January 2020, the 12th meeting of the Committee of Creditors was held. And in this meeting, 89.19% were in favor of liquidation of the company. And so they gave the go ahead to the resolution professional to file for a liquidation of the corporate debtor Parekh Aluminex Ltd. On the 18th of February 2020, the majority of the lenders approved the appointment of Avel Menezes, who was now the resolution professional. He was appointed as the liquidator of the corporate debtor. Now, the resolution professional approached the Mumbai bench of the NCLT under section 33(2) of the IBC, seeking orders for liquidation of the corporate debtor Parekh Aluminex Ltd. The NCLT on 7th of October 2020 found, among its other observations, number one, in spite of all possible steps as required under the code taken during the corporate insolvency resolution process, the COC did not receive any viable resolution plan for revival of Parekh Aluminex Ltd, the corporate debtor. Secondly, the COC, in its wisdom, resolved with 89.19% voting share in favor of the liquidation of the corporate debtor Parekh Aluminex Ltd. Thirdly, the NCLT had no reason before it to take a contrary view in terms of section 33(1)(a) of the IBC, and thus it passed the order for liquidation of the company as specified under chapter 3 of the code. Now let us read the order of the NCLT. The first point said, the corporate debtor, that is Parekh Aluminex, shall be liquidated in the manner laid down in chapter 3 of the code. Chapter 3 deals with the liquidation of the corporate debtor. B. The applicant Avel Menezes, presently the resolution professional of the Parekh Aluminex Ltd, is appointed as the liquidator. C. He shall issue public announcements stating that the corporate debtor is in liquidation. D. The moratorium declared under section 14 of the code shall cease to operate herefrom. E. Subject to section 52 of the IBC 2016, no suit or other legal proceeding shall be instituted by or against the corporate debtor. This shall, however, not apply to legal proceedings in relation to such transaction as may be notified by the central government in consultation with any financial sector regulator. F. All powers of the board of directors, key managerial personnel, and partners of the corporate debtor shall cease to have effect and shall be vested in the liquidator. G. The liquidator shall exercise the powers and perform duties as envisaged under sections 35 to 50 and 52 to 54 of the code, read with the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India Liquidation Process Regulations 2016. H. Personnel connected with the corporate debtor shall extend all assistance and cooperation to the liquidator as would be required for managing its affairs. I. The liquidator shall be entitled to such fees as may be specified by the board in terms of section 34(8) of the code. J. This order shall be deemed to be a notice of discharge to the officers, employees, and workmen of the corporate debtor, except when the business of the corporate debtor is continued during the liquidation process by the liquidator. And finally, K. Copy of the order shall be furnished to the IBBI, to the Regional Director, Western Region, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. 3. Registrar of Companies and Official Liquidator, Maharashtra, Mumbai, the Registered Office of the Corporate Debtor, and for the liquidator. Now, these 11 points in the order of the NCLT are all of them emanate from section 33 and 34 of the IBC. Let us now take a closer look at section 33. Now, section 33 to section 54 constitute chapter 3 of the IBC, which talks about the liquidation process. Section 33 talks about the initiation of liquidation. Now, there are three ways in which one can initiate liquidation proceedings against a corporate debtor. The first one, wherein the resolution professional submits no resolution plan for the corporate debtor, or the NCLT rejects the plan submitted by the resolution professional. This approach is seen in section 31(1) of the IBC. The second way is when the COC tells the resolution professional to approach the NCLT for the liquidation of the corporate debtor. This comes under section 31(2). This is where our case, that is Parekh Aluminex Ltd, is under. The third way is under section 31(3) and 4, wherein the corporate debtor contravenes the NCLT approved resolution plan, and therefore anyone who is aggrieved by the contravention of the corporate debtor can approach the NCLT for initiation of liquidation of the corporate debtor under section 31(3) and 31(4). So let's talk about section 33 in a little greater detail. Section 33, as we know, talks about the initiation of liquidation. Section 33(1) states that where the adjudicating authority, in this case the NCLT, A, before the expiry of the insolvency resolution process period, or the maximum period permitted for completion of the insolvency resolution process under section 12. Now, we know that under section 12, the CIRP process shall be completed within 180 days from the date of admission of the corporate debtor into CIRP proceedings. It may be extended by 90 days by the NCLT, okay? Or the fast track corporate insolvency resolution process under section 56. Fast track would obviously mean half the period, and therefore under section 56 the period is 90 days from the insolvency commencement date and may be extended by 45 days by the NCLT. So where the adjudicating authority does not receive a resolution plan under subsection 6 of section 30, section 36 says that the resolution plan, a professional shall submit the resolution plan approved by the COC to the NCLT. So 33(1) states that where the adjudicating authority, A, before the expiry of the insolvency resolution process period, or the maximum period permitted for completion of the corporate insolvency resolution process under section 12, or fast track corporate insolvency resolution process under section 56. Now, in any of these three cases, it does not receive a resolution plan, or where it rejects the resolution plan under section 31. Section 31 states what? Basically, section 31 draws on the requirements of the resolution plan, that And those requirements come from section 32 and 34. If these are not complied with, then the NCLT can reject the plan. So, if the NCLT does not get a plan or rejects the plan, then it shall pass an order requiring the corporate debtor to be liquidated in the manner as laid down in this chapter. 2. It shall issue public announcements stating that the corporate debtor is in liquidation. And 3. Require such order to be sent to the authority with which the corporate debtor is registered. You will recall that these three provisions, that is, passing an order requiring the corporate debtor to be liquidated, 2. Issuing a public announcement stating that the corporate debtor is in liquidation, and require such order to be sent to the authority, is found in the order which the NCLT gave on 7th of October 2020 in the matter of the corporate insolvency resolution process of Parekh Aluminex. You will note that point A stated that the corporate debtor shall be liquidated in the manner laid down in chapter 3 of the code, which corresponds to this clause, which says that pass an order requiring the corporate debtor to be liquidated in the manner laid down by the chapter. Again, issuing a public announcement, the same thing was reflected in the order as point C, wherein the liquidator shall issue public announcements stating the corporate debtor is in liquidation. And the third point, require such order to be sent to the appropriate authorities, that was mentioned in point K of the order with respect to Parekh Aluminex. Now, section 33(2) states that, now remember, we have finished with one way of hauling the corporate debtor to liquidation proceedings. Now the second way, wherein the resolution professional at any time during the corporate insolvency resolution process, but before confirmation of the resolution plan, intimates to the adjudicating authority of the decision of the committee of creditors to liquidate the corporate debtor. The adjudicating authority shall pass a liquidation order as referred to in subclause 1, 2, and 3 of clause B of section 1. Now over here, the as you have seen in the Parekh Aluminex case, the prospective resolution applicant, that is the 8th Finance Private Limited, withdrew its resolution plan, and therefore the COC came to the conclusion that it was best to have the company liquidated, and thus you had 89.19% of the creditors giving their go ahead to liquidate the company. So the resolution period was not over, and the COC came to the conclusion that the company ought to be liquidated, and therefore the resolution professional under this section 33(2) filed this application for getting an order by the NCLT to liquidate the company. And thus we have seen the clauses of 31(1)(b), subclauses 1, 2, and 3 getting reflected in the order of the NCLT, namely that they pass an order of liquidation, the public announcement is issued that the corporate debtor is in liquidation, and the order is sent to the concerned authorities. The third way, as we saw earlier, of how a liquidation process is initiated against a corporate debtor is when the resolution plan approved by the adjudicating authority is contravened by the concerned corporate debtor. Any person other than the corporate debtor whose interests are prejudicially affected by such contravention may make an application to the adjudicating authority for liquidation order, and as usual the order will follow section 31(1)(b) clause 1, 2 and 3. That is, pass order for liquidation, issue public announcement saying the corporate debtor is in liquidation, and the order sent to the concerned authorities. Connected with 33(3) is Section 33(4) states that on receipt of an application under subsection 3, if the adjudicating authority determines that the corporate debtor has contravened the provisions of the resolution plan, it shall pass a liquidation order. 33(5) states that subject to section 52. Now 52 deals with the rights of the secured creditor. So subject to his rights, when a liquidation order has passed, no suit or other legal proceeding shall be instituted by or against the corporate debtor, provided that a suit and proceeding may be instituted by the liquidator on behalf of the corporate debtor, of course with prior approval of the adjudicating authority. Now, this is seen in the order of Parekh Aluminex, point E. Connected with this is section 33(6), which states that the provisions of subsection 5 shall not apply to legal proceedings in relation to transactions as may be notified by the central government in consultation with any financial sector regulator. Section 33(7) states that the order of liquidation shall be deemed to be a notice of discharge to officers, employees, and workmen of the corporate debtor, except when the business of the corporate debtor is continued during the liquidation process by the liquidator. So as per section 33(7), the officers, employees, and workmen of the corporate debtor, in this case Parekh Aluminex, have been given a discharge, and this order for liquidation is deemed to be a notice of discharge, and this is seen in point J of the order of the Mumbai bench of the NCLT in the matter of Parekh Aluminex Ltd. Now section 34 talks about the appointment of the liquidator and the fee to be paid. Now we know that Avel Menezes was appointed as interim resolution professional. Thereafter, after the COC was formed, he was appointed as the resolution professional. And now, since the CIRP process has failed, he is appointed as liquidator. So, where the adjudicating authority passes an order for liquidation of the corporate debtor under section 33, the resolution professional appointed for corporate insolvency resolution process under Chapter 2 shall act as the liquidator for the purpose of liquidation, unless of course he is replaced by the NCLT under subsection 4. Section 34(2) states that on appointment of a liquidator under this section, all the powers of the board of directors, key managerial personnel, partners of the corporate debtor shall cease to have effect, and all their powers will be vested in the liquidator. Now this can be seen in the order of the Mumbai bench of the NCLT in the matter of Parekh Aluminex in point F. Section 34(3) states that the personnel of the corporate debtor shall extend all assistance to the corporation, assistance and cooperation to the liquidator as may be required by him in managing the affairs of the debtor. Now, if you will notice, the same thing was said in section 19, but only thing over there, instead of liquidator, it was the interim resolution professional. Now, again, this point is reflected in point H of the order of the NCLT in the matter of Parekh Aluminex Ltd. Thus, we can see that the order of the Mumbai bench of the NCLT in Parekh Aluminex Ltd is for liquidation of the corporate debtor Parekh Aluminex Ltd is taken from section 33 and 34 of the IBC.